Well,
Let's go.
I think we're going to go ahead and call to order our 9 o'clock St. Joseph County Redevelopment Commission meeting. Good morning. We have our members here. Pete Mullen.
Here.
Dennis Jordan.
Present.
Jessica Clark is present. Steve Infalt.
Here.
Brian Pulowski.
Yes, ma'am.
And Larry Beeler.
Here.
Good morning. We have minutes from August 13th. Are there any questions, comments, or motion?
Motion to approve.
I like it. You're on the ball today. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have economic development area updates. The first matter on the agenda is our General Redevelopment Commission Central Highway Garage Project update. Mr. Shalio.
Everybody a brief update. One of the things that the Redevelopment Commission has done is put some money aside so that we can do some site assessment as the county looks to dispose of some of its highway garage property. In this particular case, we're working with some developers on Lot 8 and Outlot A, which are properties north of Bowling Drive out in the Airport Industrial Park area. These properties presently have no tax value, haven't been on the tax records for maybe ever. And so we actually have for-profit private developers looking to develop on local sites. We're going to go through a process of disposition with the county over the next couple of weeks. Then later this winter or early spring, we'll do the rest of the lots south to the highway garage properties would sit on one, and Ducom Center would sit on, or I guess, Ducom Center sits on lot 1. The new sheriff depot will sit on lot 2. So we'll dispose of lots 3 through 7 this spring. So again, just another way the Redevelopment Commission is doing redevelopment and development activities around the county, but just wanted to make you aware of that.
Thank you.
When you say this spring, you mean 2020?
2020. If we can get it done sooner, if we can get some information and some of the planning work done, we may get it out yet in 2019.
So 2020.
Yeah, got it.
Hey, take that as an offense.
It wasn't meant as one. New Carlisle Economic Development Area. Resolution 2019-05.
So Resolution 2019-05 is a resolution of the St. Joseph County Redevelopment Commission acknowledging and ratifying action of the St. Joseph County Council regarding the approval of the issuance of bonds by the St. Joseph County Redevelopment District and taking all other actions related thereto. This resolution is kind of the final step. At your last meeting, you approved a resolution to use TIF district funds to pay for the double tracking project. At that point in time, the bond was anticipated at being nearly $21 million, or the full amount of the project, of the double tracking project. As this process has worked its way through the system, we're now looking at the county would be responsible for half of the project. Later today, the county board of commissioners will approve an MOU with the city of South Bend to pay for the other half. So the city will pay for half, we'll pay for half. So the resolution before you today contemplates that the bond amount has been brought down to $10,500,000. So half of the originally anticipated amount. Again, this resolution is just accepting and ratifying the steps that have occurred before. Once you approve this, then this sets us up in the process to allow us to go forward and sell the bond for the double tracking. We have to have money in place and funds to the state by October 22nd. So we're on track to do that, and with your approval today, we'll be able to move forward.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other questions, comments? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, resolution adopted. Moving into professional service proposals, we have 4 agreements for our consideration.
So the first proposal before you today is actually kind of a dual-staged proposal. One of the things that the county has been more active and proactive on doing is seeking grants to help partner and better and more wisely use the resources we have. So we have formed a partnership with Chicago South Shore and South Bend Railroad. That's the freight side of the railroad operations. And we're looking to apply for a CRISI grant. CRISI stands for
Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvements.
Yes, that's what CRISI stands for. Hey, couldn't find it in my notes. Just looking it up. Yeah, so this grant is actually administered through the Department of Transportation and more specifically through the Federal Railroad Administration. What we're looking to do with this grant is 2 things. The first is there's a bridge that spans US 20 in New Carlisle that right now doesn't have a weight capacity to allow heavier weight to travel on the South Shore system. It is, as you think of the South Shore system, every bridge west, every piece of rail west of this bridge meets a 286 ton capacity requirement. This bridge and then east all the way to the end of the system does not currently meet that 286 requirement. So use of hauling steel coils and things like that over this bridge through this section is not possible at this point in time until that bridge gets upgraded. So we're applying for a grant to upgrade the bridge and then also to upgrade rail and to examine the potential to add rail to a rail park area that South Shore Freight has land that it owns at the intersection, southwest corner of US 20 and Smilax Road. This opportunity would put rail into that area to allow for rail-served development sites to exist on that site. So it's kind of a twofer, if you will. Without the bridge being improved, you can't really build a rail park at 20 and Smilax. So both pieces have to come together. The total amount of the work is about $4 million, so we're applying for a $4 million grant. The way the Chrissy grants work is it really is a 35-65 ratio that really make the grant successful. Well, it says on paper it's an 80-20 grant, 35% usually gets you the grant. So we and South Shore are proposing to partner at $700,000 apiece to reach that 35% match amount. And so that would be the first piece, would be your approval of applying for the grant and using $700,000 of TIF as a match. The second piece then would be Bergman Consulting is a firm that South Shore Freight has used for a number of grants and a number of other pieces of work that they do. They'd like us to partner in using Bergman to write this grant and be the grant administrator. The total amount of that work is estimated to be $20,000, so we would have no more than $10,000 into a match for the payment of the grant application. The grant is due October 18th. We believe, based on the scope of work, that it would be a very successful grant and should be awarded. It would be, the award wouldn't come until 2020, so probably January, February 2020, we believe, is about the grant award time. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer.
The grant administrator in that is county or this firm?
So it would be this Bergman organization.
And they've done that, they played that role for us.
Yes, absolutely.
What is the approximate time frame for the proposed improvements?
So once the grant is awarded, then there's a negotiation period with FRA to get the contract in place. That would take a period of time in 2020. All of them are different based on the scope of work and the estimate. It's our understanding it could take anywhere between 6 and 9 months to get the contract in place. So we would probably be looking at construction at the earliest late 2020, early 2020.
Do you know how this program is set up as far as the match money? Is it due at the time of letting 100% of the match, or is it a program where we're paying, getting reimbursement, things like that?
My understanding is we're paying getting a reimbursement.
And are we still only paying our portion of the match though, or are
That's
we
correct.
fronting?
Once we get the grant, what we would do is have a separate agreement with South Shore Freight on how the grant is paid on a proportional scale basis.
Bill, you mentioned, excuse me, Jessica.
Please.
Bill, you mentioned the New Carlisle Bridge is not adequate for the tonnage, and those bridges east of there. Does that affect us at all, those bridges east of?
So there's actually no bridges east. There's 2 culverts that at some point in time would have to be upgraded. Those culverts are closer into South Bend. One is in the Leidick area, I believe, and then one is actually around the Ardmore train station. The old Ardmore, I guess it'd be the Amtrak station. So on the South Shore line, everything else west is 286.
Okay, we don't worry about everything west, but do we have to even worry about those culverts at some point?
At some point, if we were going to see continued heavy freight development east, we would have to work to upgrade those.
Okay, but
from a line standpoint, that's probably only about 10 miles of line and 2 culverts that could be dealt with at some point in time.
got it. Thank you.
286 just is the new industry standard for rail lines of that size. So
A lot of weight.
it's just moving everything to that industry standard.
Motion approved.
got a motion on the
Second.
floor, a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion granted. We've got a project management service contract with Antero Group.
Pass this out real quick. This is a supplement. The next two proposals are somewhat related, although it's a different project. Over the last several months, we've been working with the Antero Group to serve as our lead project manager for both the IC development area as well as the South Bend Logistics Park development. The proposal before you, the first proposal is addendum number 2, as we look to complete and finish the draft of the plan, as well as then have public meetings and public response to the master plan. We need to add some additional funding into the Antero Group proposal for the work that they're doing. We've been doing a lot of coordination with developers. We've been doing a lot of things that have been needed to occur, but that's been chipping away from the budget a little bit and have taken some of the scope out of the contract. What we have before you today is a proposal to complete the work into a draft format, again, allow for a series of public meetings, and then finalize the plan. We hope to begin that process as early as October, putting the draft plan out for public comment. We hope to have a schedule for that here in the next week or so, where we can release that and release those dates. So the work before you for addendum number 2 is $114,730. The schedule that I gave you is their fee schedule. That would be the same for this proposal as well as the next one proposal. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer.
What was the original amount we awarded to Antero for this?
I've got that sitting on my desk, and I can go get that if you'd like. Off the top of my head, I just don't remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Could you send us a note on that?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd agree with Steve on that.
Yeah, we can send you an updated schedule on that.
You just present the second one as well.
I can get it.
Actually, on our
Yeah.
website.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm looking up. If you go ahead and discuss the next proposal, I can
So
look
the
this up.
second proposal before you is addendum 1 to the South Bend Freight and Logistics Strategy, and it's the implementation plan side of this. Again, as we near the completion of that master planning process, this is the master plan for the southwest quadrant of the airport. And as it relates to the station relocation of the South Shore, as well as the potential addition of South Shore Freight rail into that area. We have a couple of developers that we've been working with, as well as the airport, put together this plan and finalize this plan. We believe that there's a tremendous opportunity here on this site, and so we're likely to wrap this plan up too before the end of the year. We've had a lot of coordination with the airports on this, and hope to be able to release this plan, again, the draft later this year, and then approval first of next year. The amount of the scope of this addendum would be $88,570.
So just a reminder, the original contract amended to date total is approximately 2.7 million for that entire effort, spanning the wetlands, the sanitary, the water distribution, drainage, hydraulics, land use, transportation infrastructure, freight, that type of thing. Antero's portion of that right now is 620,000 of the 2.7.
Make a motion for their separate approval.
Is that for both proposals, or are you doing separate right now?
Motion for their separate approvals, approval of both.
Okay,
You can approve them both by one motion.
okay.
I'll second the motion.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. The last service proposal is for Big Idea Company.
So the last proposal before you today is actually to assist in the plan rollout and then the plan implementation stages. Big Idea Company is a local company here that does a lot with media relations and messaging coordination. So as we look to roll out the plan through the draft and the final version stages for the IEC as well as for the SBN project, the Big Idea Company would assist Antero Group and assist the county team in doing that. There's a series of steps and milestones that we would hit. But basically, it's a one-year contract for services. They would be on retainer. They would assist us as we go through this process. We are in the process, Mr. Woods and I were working on this morning of a contract. So we'd like you to approve this contract subject to final formation of a contract on this agreement. The proposal amount is for a not to exceed amount of $72,000. If there's any questions, I would be happy to answer.
I'd make a motion to approve subject to Jamie's review.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Update on our ADS grant project with the Indiana Enterprise Center and Navistar.
With great sadness, I tell you that we still don't have knowledge on where we stand with the AES grant. On Friday, we were supposed to have learned, and it was supposed to be published in the Federal Register, those grant recipients that received the ADS grant. The ADS grant was a grant that we filed in partnership with Navistar and Notre Dame and several other partners. We found out about noon that they decided to wait till Thursday of this week to make that announcement. So I was hoping to be able to tell you with great news that we won a $10 million grant. But when we win this week, we'll make sure to send you an email and let you know. So,
Thank you.
Moving into the St. Joseph County Economic Development Area number 3, or Capitol Avenue, we have 2 appraisal services, Dave Wazak and Frank Kirkowski.
So both of these are related to a industrial park development and actually the Penn Township Fire Station project that's being proposed in the northwest corner of McKinley and Bittersweet. As part of the work that needs to be done, we need to extend a water line and connect it from where it presently ends at Evergreen Drive and then on the east of Bittersweet. We have a gap of about 9 properties where that water line does not cross. We need to get 2 appraisals to get an average appraisal value so that we can make an offer to buy an easement across these properties. There actually been a couple of wins in this process. One of the houses that we were going to have tremendous impact on has recently been purchased by one of the project partners and is going to be torn down. So instead of having to go through a house, we now just have to go through a vacant lot. So that'll make this process a little easier. Both of these proposals, 8 appraisals, each priced at $2,690 an appraisal for a total amount of $21,520 for Dave Wazak and then $21,520 for Frank Kirkowski for his work. If there's any question, I would be happy to answer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. Don't see any update for our Wyatt Economic Development Area or the Northwest Cleveland Road Economic Development Area. Before I move into additional business, I do just want to alert, we do have our Title VI information available as a survey that's completely voluntary. We do recommend or encourage public participation in that involvement survey, as it does help us build our programs and determine how we can better serve our residents here in this community. Do we have any additional business to discuss? Any other comments by the commission? At this time, we would, pardon me, yes, sir.
Would it be possible, prior to the next meeting to get, financial update?
Absolutely.
Certainly. Yeah.
We had planned to have that for this meeting and
Been working on the
because of
bond.
uncertainty, we kind of pushed it off, but we will, at the next meeting, have it for all of it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd open the floor to public comment. Again, if there's anyone that wishes to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and there's a 3-minute limit, please.
sign this too?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You should just put their names up there and have them with a date on it.
My name is Jack Daly. I live at 217 West Michigan Street in New Carlisle. I just wanted to point out that up until recently, a large percentage of folks who live in New Carlisle knew nothing about IAC. I spent some time at the end of July, the Hometown Day is a celebration they have out there every year. Polling people as they went by Michigan Street, booth where we had IEC signs and asking if they knew what that meant. And a good better than 50% had no idea. Actually, some of them wanted to know why we were against the immigration proposals. A year ago, in October, the Carlisle Town Council sent out a promotional piece, I suppose to you folks, saying that the town welcomed the IEC project. How that can happen a year ago and half of the town doesn't know about it yet, I really call that into question. The big idea and promotion for IEC moving forward, it would be nice if we got the same type of efforts put into educating people out of New Carlisle as to what's coming. The more and more people find out about it, the more you start to see the signs against it. When people know about it, they're against it. And you folks are moving like I've never seen, real quick. What we do, $500,000 today. You should know what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you. No. You just gotta write and permit them.
Morning,
Good morning.
Dan Caruso, 305 Compton Street, New Carlisle. I'm here once again. Spoke a number of months ago that the Timothy Road fiasco was on this year's construction schedule. I don't know if anybody's noticed. We're reaching the end of construction season. The car just went off into that gulch last night from hitting the potholes on that road. That is a school bus road. You guys are aware of that problem. And if that hasn't become agenda number one, to protect our children and our grandchildren from going into that mess down there every day, with the possibility of ending up in that marsh, I would say, being aware of this, you accept some culpability for not taking immediate action to repair that, other than throw down fresh sandbags. It's just pitiful what is happening down there. And if you can't take care of that little piece of infrastructure, what makes you think anybody's going to be able to take care of the damages being done with your these proposals to bring businesses, all these semis, all this additional traffic into the area that is going to be further wear and tear on the rest of our infrastructure, and God knows what else. We need to stop this now and sit back and see how we're going to damage a small community with this big city mentality. Please think twice about this.
Humberger, 29987. I second Dan's concern about the Timothy Road. I noticed two shovels full of asphalt in the hole, and I'd like to remind you, when you brought this up this spring, that assured us that it was on the agenda because
It is.
this year we're going into the winter season, the ice and snow. The whole area freezes halfway across the road. It's a dangerous situation. Not taken care of. The second thing is that we really have to make objection to the $72,000 to the Big Idea Company, because basically I see that as payment to the outside area to counter the effect of there and trying to overcome, area opposition over, and I, that's right that we should have our taxes against, thank you.
Do you have any other public comment? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Our next meeting date is October 8th, currently scheduled for 9 a.m. Thank you. Mr. Castelli, so I can speak to them. Oh, yep. I'm sure we've got to sign things.
That's why Jeff's got.
We planned to have, we started working on the budget about 2 weeks ago. The mindset just took everything.
Thanks for asking.
So, no,